Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to yet another Spright siding tutorial. So today we're going to be looking at siding against the two permanent fire decks. I've created a couple of copies of the decks here. Obviously up top here is my deck, but as we go down the deck list, and I'm a bit lazy and I don't really have time to edit this, so I'm just going to be jumping in and out of practice mode to actually show you guys the siding as well, because I do have to leave today very soon, but I thought I'd upload this video ASAP so you guys could kind of give me your thoughts and kind of have an idea of what you want to side in and out against the fire deck. So first of all, these cards at the bottom here, this is of course for the Fire King Snake Eye deck, and I put these cards here because our first card I want to talk about is Draw. So what is Draw exactly hitting against both these decks? Well, as you can see, I put two Draws in my main as opposed to the two Bells. There's a good reason to run like either one of them, right? Like, or they all hit different things. For example, what does Bell do that Draw doesn't, let's say? Against the end board of a Fire King deck, well, potentially Bell could be stopping a Garunix. Bell could also be stopping, let's say, a Labyrinth, big welcome, Labyrinth, and it could also be stopping maybe like an Albion Sanctifier to summon back like a gimmick puppet, like a fun card, right? Or maybe like some of the voice players are using the Jalgunlock now, which is also very much not fun. So Bell is in the side right now, but it's just because I reckon Draw is a card that you still have to run just for some other decks. But let's move away from that. Let's look at this deck in particular, the Fire King deck. So typically Wanted is going to search during the draw phase to play around Draw, because if they're not, they're kind of just trolling at that point. And also if they do search during the main phase, oh, I forgot to put Bonfire in both of these. Let me just quickly throw that in here, right? Because that's another searcher. Let's say they activate Bonfires to search Ash, you draw them. If they have Wanted in hand, obviously going to chain it. If they didn't activate in the draw phase already, doesn't really make a difference. But I put it in here because it also has a draw one effect by putting back the original Snake Eye card. So these are all in here because these are potential draw stops. So Bonfire searches a Pyro, Talons can draw two, but instead they'll always choose to look at your hand instead if you draw them, and they have it. Poplar searches a spell, so usually that's the field spell, or it searches original Sinful Spoils. And then Ash is going to obviously search another level 1, which is usually Poplar, but if they can also search Oak, if they maybe special summon this and then they have a level 1 graveyard and they already have Poplar or something, I don't know, something like that, right? And then Island is obviously going to be searched off of Ponix indirectly because they search Sanctuary, which then searches Island, and the Island is going to search for a Garunix most of the time unless they already have it. So Draw, I think, is only good to keep in against the Fire King deck because of this extra little bit. The rest of it is kind of irrelevant because if they get drawed here with a Snake Eye pure build, let's jump on that, well then they can just use Oak to chuck this in here as well. They can just use Oak to summon from grave and then they can still combo off that, right? So that being said, what I want to say is Draw is going to go out against the Fire King deck. Let's actually jump into some practice games. So let's go in so solo mode. We want the side deck. Let's go with the pure Snake Eye first. So let's assume that we're going first. I'll just quickly show you guys here. So going first, we're going to put in the anti-spell. Let's say that we lost the first game, right? Lost the first game, we're going to choose first. So anti-spell is obviously going to go in. I think Nib is actually a very good card against them as well. And because this is pure, right? This is what I talked about beforehand. I think the draws need to come out of the main deck against the pure version. And then I also think that Ash and any sort of like fire, follow-up for them needs to get removed straight away, especially because of the charmers, right? So I think take out the Ashes, make sure that you have no unnecessary fires, meaning Jed and Carrot and Red obviously still need to stay in, but yeah, so going first, anti-spells in, Nibs in, so we have 5 here, and then we're going to take out one more card. See, usually I have like a pretty set plan. Okay, let's take out a Crow. I think we take out a Crow just because against their deck in particular, especially if you draw Shifter, Crow isn't amazing. It's mainly just for the cards in the graveyard to negate. Not negate, but yeah, well, it is to negate, like Princess and Garunix. Not Garunix for this deck, but Princess in this deck. And also you can, Crow the Flamberge target, or you can Crow the level 1 if they only have 2 level 1s in graveyard for Flambush to special summon, stuff like that. But going first, you kind of just want to make as big of a board as possible. I'd probably also just chuck in a Bell over a Crow because I feel like that those are a little bit better. Everything else is pretty solid here. And yeah, so we're going to swap those cards. And that's it for going first against Snake Eyes, pure Snake Eyes. Now going second, obviously we're leaving Shifter in for both games because I feel like it's just like it makes it so much easier to win, right? Going second, Ash is still going to be taken out. Droll is still going to be taken out, so that's 5 cards already. Personally, I feel like you always have to have Triple Cyclone because there are so many floodgates that you have to respect, such as Anti-Spell and Summon Limit especially. So those 3 will go in. I also really like Triple Nib against them as per usual. So we're going to side those out as well as the Smashes. So in this particular variant, because we're running... we're going second, I feel like Smashes is always very difficult to activate, not just because you have to activate some other cards to get cards in graveyard for banish, to banish for cost, but also you need to stick a body on field. And then if you remove your only level 2 when you normal summon, because Princess is going to pop any other special summon that you have, well then Smashes is just kind of hard to use. So yeah, I'd say get rid of Smashes. Also on the Shifter, it's just particularly not worthwhile running. So that's all the cards that you want to side out there. I probably should also put in the Bell. So for the Bells, because we just want to stop them from playing entirely, Caddy and Penny are sometimes not very good going second because, you know, you're just not going to... they're only going to be level 2 bodies at best until you actually break their board and you do more. So let's go Bells out and then Caddy and Penny in for going second against the pure variant. Now let's go into the Fire King deck. Alright, so going first against the Fire King Snake Eyes build, as per usual, the anti-spells are going in, the nibs are also going in, but I actually really like the cosmics as well. So I'm going to put 3 cosmics in as well, going first. So that's a total of 9 cards. Actually, let me think about whether or not we want to play this many cards. So Ash is still going to go out all the time. Droll is, I'd say going first, Droll is probably not necessary. Just because it's kind of iffy on the shifter or it doesn't work on the shifter, and also if you're going first, you're just going for like a total deck lockdown. Crow is definitely going out. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards already against our 9. So we need 2 more cards. These need to stay in. They're very good. Everything else stays. I'd say maybe the Imperms, just because Cosmic alone, if it hits the field spell, it's just so good, right? But you can also make the case for Imperm hitting Snake Eye Ash as like a really good card. So maybe what we might do actually is we might swap out... Maybe we'll keep an Imperm and take out our Smashes, right? Because Smashes, again, is kind of weird under Shifter, and typically under Jet, or off the Jet, you want to search another starter just to respect it evenly. So actually, Smashes is going to go out. I'd say for like the pure variant as well, I'd say like just take it out. Because if you're shiftering them, then like it's a pretty dead card. You have to like banish one from hand instead, which is always very costly. Otherwise, you can also go starter into shifter, which puts a starter in graveyard, but it's too situational, and so I think Smashes is just not quite the best card there. Bell also has a funny interaction in the I'll show you actually in a second. So this will be going first, and those will be our sides. So let's randomize. We can't randomize here. All right, all good. But this will be our side for going first. And then going second, Bell goes in, not just because it can hit a couple of cards in the deck, but also because if they try and call by the shifter and you happen to draw both, it's pretty funny just belling it so you keep your shifter alive. It's great. So going second, we're going to put those 2 in. And as per usual, if you're playing, this goes for any deck that dies to shifter, right? If you're playing against a shifter deck, Smashes and the 2 Melffys going second is always going to be sided out just because you don't want to see them going second. So those are mandatory to side out essentially. And then Cosmics will always go in. So I'd say like these 3 always trade for these 3 because you just have to respect the floodgates. And then we have 2 Bells now. So going second against Fire King, Bells will go in. We want to see other Bells or Crows. Ash again will be taken out. So we want to put in this, and then we can go 2 more Nibs. Let me think on what we can take out here. So I have a theory that we actually want to cut the imperms just because they're not as impactful as you want them to be. Maybe this would be the correct side, but you can also make a case for keeping the imperms in and like keeping some other hand traps out. Maybe like 2 Joels is fine, right? Because Joel isn't live on the shifter, and then like you don't always want to see it against Viking. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm gonna change that up a little bit. So draws, maybe we'll just like run 2 copies, something like that, right? Like 1 imperm, or maybe you can make a case for this as well, like, or maybe just all 3. But I kind of like the idea of having really hard hitting hand traps or no hand traps at all, right? Like if you are going second, that means you won your first game, so you know what they're playing probably, unless they like auto scoop, which is quite unlikely because they want to see how your board interacts, whatever. Which means that I'm just thinking about talents, right? If you ash them or if you bell them or something, whatever, or imperm them, like obviously imperm won't turn on their talents, but you want to have these really impactful hand traps, or you just don't want to activate anything at all. And shift is always going to be used during the draw phase or the standby phase just to prevent them from maybe pitching for their bell star. Like maybe you can make an argument for like wanting them to commit more resources before shifting them, but like it doesn't really matter. I think you just auto win if you throw it down in a shifter. But yeah, this is the side going second. Cosmics are for the field spell as well as floodgates. If they have a floodgate, I'd say like hit that first, or like try and bait it out first, see what you can do. If they have no floodgates, then just like whatever, just cosmic the field spell whenever you want, whenever the timing's right. And then for everything else, I think just really knowing what they can do and when the best time to hit them will be your best way of playing through their boards. I've actually faced quite a few competent players running these 2 variants, and so yeah, it's definitely very doable, especially if you have shifter, right? Like if you have shifter, you're expected to kind of just do really well to blow them out. And then coupled with like nib during a good spot, maybe like let's say they go through the flamberge graveyard resummon effect, then that's probably a pretty good time to nib because they won't really have any extenders unless they haven't normal summon and open the nuts to special summon monsters off of the original Sinful Spoils. That is about all that I wanted to talk about this video. There's also one more quick mention that I want to make, which is Mannequin Cat targeting a special summon fire monster to summon the Great Shogun Shien. I think in theory it sounds kind of nice, but also like the end board with the Melffy stuff is just so good going first that I don't think it's really worth it. And it doesn't like auto kill them because they could just activate all the spell traps before committing to special summoning a fire monster. So yeah, all right, that's gonna do it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, found it resourceful, and yeah, take care. I'm gonna be gone for like a week. All the best. Bye.